So you've been dumped and you're in that boat where you're trying to decide, do I move on with my life or do I kind of sit around and wait a little bit and see if they come back to me? That's what we're getting into today in this video. I'm going to go over all the different things you need to think about so that you can make the right decision for you. Real quick, I also want to mention I've just added a coaching feature to the things that I do. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, that can either be a live Zoom or phone call, or you can send me your problem and I'll record a custom video and send it back to you. That's a slightly cheaper option. Either way, check out the links down below in the description or right up here. So first, you need to ask yourself, do they actually want you back? And just because they've moved on to a new relationship, maybe they even monkey branched right from you to somebody else. That actually happened to me with my last relationship. That doesn't necessarily mean they won't come back to you. In fact, if they're involved in a rebound relationship, which is basically where they go right from you to somebody else, that has like a 70% failure rate and an average lifespan of about 3 months. But you do need to think about whether or not they actually want you back. And you can look for signs of their attraction for you by whether or not they call you or text you occasionally, whether or not they ever want to hook up with you after the breakup, and other signs that they are thinking about you. Maybe they're looking at your social media and stuff like that. The other thing, aside from a rebound, is they could be experiencing limerence. And I have a lot of videos about the subject of limerence. That's basically a crazy tunnel vision, obsessive version of lust, where you're all in on thinking about this other person and you almost can't think about anything else. And it's very unhealthy and it doesn't last. The good news is it always has an expiration date. I do have a lot of other videos that cover that though. So if you're interested, check out this card right up here and you can dive in deeper on that subject. So if they do ask you back, the next question you've got to know is, what would be different this time around? Or even if they don't ask you back, if you want them back and you think they might take you back, what would be different? After all, the relationship failed for a reason. So what would make it succeed this time? Maybe somebody cheated. Maybe there was lying and deception. Maybe there were just fundamental issues with your value system. Whatever it is, why would things be different this time around? Are one or both of you willing to compromise? Are either of you in therapy, either individually or willing to see counseling together? Something has to change or nothing will change and you'll end up breaking up again. So how often do couples actually reconcile? I've got 2 different studies I referenced here and they both give slightly different results. I know. Go figure. But the first study looked at over 3,000 couples, and they found that about 70% of those couples did not get back together again. About 30% did. However, 14% of that 30% ended up breaking up again, probably for those reasons I just discussed. In other words, nothing had actually changed. Therefore, they got the same results that they did the first time around. However, there are other studies that suggest it's more like 40 to 50% that actually reconcile. And some of those studies do suggest a much better success rate. So you've got to sort of take these studies with a grain of salt, understand that every situation is different. Every relationship is different. And again, if you want to make it work, if your ex asks you back, what would be different this time around? What are you willing to do and what are they willing to do? So why do couples reconcile? In most cases, it's because there's still unrequited love. There are feelings there that just didn't go away. And maybe there were problems in the relationship that led to one person wanting to break up with the other one. Or maybe they met somebody new. They made an impulsive decision to dump you for this new person. It's kind of what happened to me in my last relationship. But there are unrequited feelings still there. Maybe the new person isn't checking off all the boxes the way that you did, and you're now becoming top of mind with them at least some of the time. But also the person who did the dumping often has great feelings of guilt and remorse in the wake of the breakup. They may feel totally justified in doing the breaking, but they do feel bad about what they've done to you and about the demise of the relationship, and especially all of the things that you guys had built together. And so those emotions run strong and they can be overwhelming, especially, as I mentioned, if they're in a new relationship with somebody else and it's just not quite what they thought it was going to be. And now the million-dollar question: if you got dumped, how long should you wait before you give up on reconciliation? The good news is it's not that long. On average, couples who broke up tended to reconcile within 5.2 months. And there are some studies that say it's as much as 7 months, but 5.2 seems to be about the average. However, there's a caveat here. If you are the guy and you got dumped by your girlfriend or your wife, and she has what's known as an avoidant attachment style, and I do have a lot of videos about attachment styles as well, and if you want to dive in deeper on that, check out this video right up here, and I'll dive in deeper there. But if they have an avoidant attachment style, you could actually expect it to take a lot longer, maybe even as much as a year before you can expect them to come back. But if they don't have that, if it's been at least 5 or 6 months, and they haven't come back and there's no signs of that changing, at that point, if it were me, I probably would indeed move on, find something new, get on with your life. If you need to get them out of sight, out of mind, go ahead and block them on social media, block them on your phone, that kind of thing, just for your own mental health. It is indeed a great idea to go no contact if you got dumped and you want them back, or if you just want your own mental health back and you don't want them intruding on your healing process. But what do you do if you want them back and you're going no contact and it's not working? Well, I do have a video that covers that, so check this out right up here. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.